I can honestly say I didn't see that coming. We gotta get into this movie review. So all I gotta say is this is one crazy adventure. So yeah, let's start this review of the new film Sound of Violence right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another movie review. Yep, as I said, we're going to be reviewing the film Sound of Violence, which made its world premiere at South by Southwest. And what do you know? A solid pickup by Gravitas Ventures, which is going to be releasing its own video on demand in North America May 21st. I was wondering who was going to get this. I thought for sure this smelled like Shudder, maybe IFC. So this is a super solid pickup for Gravitas Ventures getting the distribution rights to this film, because this is a fantastic film. I really liked it, and I watched it towards the end of South by Southwest amongst all the other different things I checked out, and this is definitely the ride home. Like when to really put the icing on the cake for all the films I watched. This was definitely the solid one that was like, you know what, this year was absolutely awesome, and I liked it because it was so unique. It did have flavors similar to other things you've seen, but overall, I love this film. It was a little bit unpredictable. It was a little bit unbelievable. But you get past that and you just have a good time. It was a solid horror film. All elements of it was like really, really good. But obviously with the film being called Sound of Violence, you have to talk about the sound mixing, which was spectacular. Really was. And then the use of, with the cinematography, the use of neon colors. Now here's the thing. Films like Mandy that uses really bright and vivid colors, like that can be an eye strainer and give you a headache and whatever it may be. Vertigo, all sorts of different things, you know. But I thought the use of colors here was done really well, that I didn't have a problem with it at all. And I think that's important for certain people to know, because that could ultimately be a deal breaker for certain people watching it. But I will say, like, yeah, the film is bright, but it didn't hurt my eyes. It was not overbearing, and it was done in really specific scenes and not just overkill throughout the entire time. But so let me kind of break down what's going on within this film, kind of touching up on the synopsis a little bit here. So you have Alexis, who's played by Jasmin Savoy Brown, who does a fantastic job as your lead here. She's essentially haunted by her childhood drama. She's seen her family completely be murdered in front of her, but at the same time, she's already dealing with something else, and that was the loss of her hearing. But after experiencing this murder, she actually regained her hearing, and you know, it's a miracle essentially, but you know, it actually became just more than just that. So now that she's an adult, she's told again that she may lose her hearing. So she really goes through this is kind of silly even saying it, but because her ultimate goal is to put out the best track that she can ever. She loves music and producing. So in order for her to put out, you know, this passion project of this monster track that she wants to do before it's all said and done, she used all sorts of experiments, very gruesome, in order to put together this masterpiece. Along with her supportive roommate Marie, played by Lili Simmons, she becomes an unknown accolade to her destructive process. So here's the thing. Alexis is essentially the Dr. Dre of death. She uses, when they say experiment, she likes the chilling sounds of violence and uses those in order to put in different aspects of the beat making process. So we're talking about the idea of hearing like drills and people screaming, all sorts of like unconventional things in order to help her accomplish this and to make this masterpiece. And like, to be honest, after this, like, I don't know if I can ever listen to EDM the same because like now it's making me really want to dissect some of the sounds I'm hearing and like starting to wonder like, oh, okay, that sound did come from that, you know. But I gotta say, the beginning of this film, like talking about the childhood scenes, is just completely nuts, and it set the tone the entire time. And the trauma in the story, I thought, was done in a really good way, because the trauma that her parents dealt with, which ultimately translated from her as a child to her being an adult, it just makes sense. Like her sadistic manner, like you can see how it develops and why it develops. So I really like how they were able to imply that. And then I love everything with the color, just the sadistic nature of the narration. I thought was really well done too. But I think that, again, in order for this film to essentially work, the sound mixing was key, and I thought it was good. It absolutely excelled, and it made the film work. Because it's funny, because the emphasis on certain sounds are projected and even is sort of say elevated to the point that things you hear daily that you kind of like assumingly you just kind of like ignore, the fact how they like really promote it and elevate it to the sound like makes you like think twice about where certain sounds come from and how chilling they could be. And like, I love how this movie did that. Like, they brought horror out of things that is completely normal until they actually did take things that are completely scary and made it even worse. Like, it really, like, some of these things that you hear like in your dailies, like it gives you chills the way how they was able to make the sound to use them in this, like, for real. But another thing about this is like Alexis is so innocent until she's not innocent. And it's funny how like the innocent isn't really innocent when things start to unravel. Like, to be honest, Homegirl turns into John Kramer. If you don't know who John Kramer is, Saw. Like, and essentially the development of her becoming a monster is done so beautifully. Like, it really, really is. And you can't help but to look at her as a baby face, but she just goes completely heel and you're just so caught off guard. But yeah, it's just, the idea of using sounds of torture and violence to make her beats is kind of a crazy thing. But nonetheless, there's good gore in this film. It's not a lot. It's for the minimum pieces used. I thought it was done really well. I was not a huge fan of the investigation process in this, like the cops and the authorities and the forensics team. I could have did without all of that. I was not a fan of it at all. Again, there's things that's just completely unbelievable in this film. Don't worry about that. Just have fun with it and let the story goes where it goes. With that being said, I would love to see this grow. I would love to see this be taken to the next level. I would love to see this story be expanded. I thought, although this appears to be a one-off, I am so intrigued to know more about the world that's happening. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I would love to know more about this. I want to see this go further because there's absolutely some possibilities, and I even have some ideas of things that I would absolutely enjoy with this. But other than that, man, Sound of Violence was really, really cool. I thought this was a really entertaining film, unique. Again, it does have things that you may be familiar with, but overall, it's a complete story. I thought it just felt really refreshing and new. I can't stress enough, Jasmin does a tremendous job carrying this film. The scenes where she actually is complimented with Lili, I thought they had good energy together too. The writer and director, Alice Noyer, I think that, there's potential to go with this story, and I want to see more, so I'm just going to throw that out there. But folks, again, grab it to solid pickup, because this is going to be releasing on video on demand May 21st. This is a film to check out for sure. I thought I had a good time with it, and I think you all will as well. But as always, folks, let me know in the comments what you think about this film. Check out the trailer, and as always, let me know in the comments, are you excited? And once you check it out, let me know your thoughts. But until then, folks, thank you so much for tuning in for my review, and I'll see you all very soon.